Good morning. Welcome to Civics, everybody. I hope everyone is having a great day. Tell me how you are today. Are you a green smiley face, a yellow meh, or an orange frowny? Okay, looks like a couple mess. Sarah, how are you? I don't see your response. All right. Jacob, why so frowny? Oh, you overslept. Okay, I got that. And the rain. Yes, I understand. Well, I am a green smiley face today. This is a great lesson that we have today. I'm super pumped about it, and I'm so glad to see all of you all here in class today. As we get started today, I want to remind you all that you do have to be engaged. Okay, so I am taking a grade today straight into the grade book after class, probably from the Padlet. So you're going to want to pay attention. You're going to want to do the activities we're doing. Put your phone down, turn your camera on, and I want you to give me 45 minutes of your time today. Let's start off with a multiple choice question that I bet you have not been thinking about, but I am going to get you to think about it today. In your opinion, should the right to vote be expanded, restricted, protected, or expanded and protected? Here's the poll. You guys answer this question and think about this. Just what's your gut feeling? All right, we've got about 4 more who need to respond. Okay, good. That's everybody. So it looks like we have a variety of all of these, which is great. You all actually have been exposed a little bit to this question through an Edpuzzle and your textbook readings, and also back in Unit 3 when we looked at civil rights. So I think you're going to find that you actually have a little bit of opinion about this as we go through the lesson today. Guys, I put the democracy pledge beside this question because today you are doing it. You are taking civil action and you are doing parts of this democracy pledge. So as we go through our lesson today, you are becoming a more engaged and active citizen. You are championing lots of different ideas today, and you will. You are educating yourself. And you are striving to create a perfect union. So our lesson today encompasses many of these items. Specifically, what are we doing today? So our objective today is you will participate in a discussion on voting laws in the United States so that you can understand the issues and the laws proposed so that you can create your own voting law. And you think, my own voting law, really? Yes, really. And I think you're going to have it finished by the end of today. So let's go ahead and let's get started. I want to give you all a little bit of background, but we've got a lot of doing today. I want to start off with this statement. Voting is a fundamental right in this country. When our country was founded, we just didn't have the participation as a colony of the British Empire to be able to participate in the day-to-day governing. And that was one of the things that drove us to have our revolution and to create our own country. But you all know, and we've talked about in class, that not everybody had the right to vote right away. Can somebody tell me who got to vote early on in our country? That's right. It was the white male property owners, which probably don't include any of us in this room, right? So tell me, as we've studied, who are some of the groups of people that have had to fight for their right to vote? Okay, thanks, Jacob. The white property owners, the non-property owning whites, yes. Okay, women. African Americans, yes. 18-year-olds, Native Americans, we had a special lesson on that. So thank you guys for remembering all of these groups. How did they get the right to vote? See if you can brainstorm and remember some of the ways, court cases, laws, amendments. And if you're watching this recording, we have been through all of these, so I'm going to give them a minute to kind of remember. And I'm going to compliment them as they remember different amendments and different pieces of legislation. You all know that one of the most important pieces of legislation, because we've studied this one specifically, is the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that allowed and brought so many African Americans into the ability to vote. However, this Voting Rights Act has expired and it has not been renewed. In addition to that, the Supreme Court has struck down various parts of this Voting Act, including a part that required states to authorize their new laws with the federal government. Guys, the Constitution leaves voting to the states. Why do you think the framers did this? Why didn't they just write it all into the Constitution? This is the way we're going to vote. All right. Absolutely, Wesley. That's a great answer because all the states are different, right? So Arkansas is a tiny rural state. It needs a different voting system than New York City and New York State, right? And then Montana is this big, wide state that has not very many people. And so they need maybe a different system than Florida. So there's not really a one-size-fits-all for voting. But they let states make their own laws. And you guys, by and large, states do a pretty good job of making their own voting laws. But there have been times in our nation's history when states did not do a good job. And states prohibited people from voting and they restricted voting. And so it's during those times that the federal government has had to step in. Back to this Voting Rights Act for just a minute. I told you that the Supreme Court has struck down parts of it. States are creating their own voting laws now, and they don't have to okay them with the federal government. In particular, in response to the 2020 election, 19 states have passed 34 laws that restrict voting rights. In response to the 2020 election, more than 440 bills with provisions that restrict voting have been introduced in 49 states in the 2021 legislative sessions. Congress has responded. They have tried to pass several bills that would expand the right to vote and renew some of the Voting Rights Act, but both of those laws have failed. In fact, some of them didn't even get to come to the floor. So where does that leave us right now? We're going to take a dive right now into what these laws are. And we're going to read an article that is on a website called the Brennan Center for Justice. I want to take a minute and I want to show you what this article looks like. All right, so this article is on a website that is run by the Brennan Center for Justice, and they monitor voting laws all across the nation. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to read this article. And as you read, if you find a law that you really, really like, I want you to post on it in Padlet. And if you find a law that you really, really don't like, I want you to copy that. You can just copy it and paste it and then tell me why you like it and why you don't like it. So everybody's got about 10 minutes. The link is in chat. And at this time, I would put the link to this article in chat. Give everybody about 10 minutes. You can easily copy and paste from that article, and it's real easy to put that in Padlet. And so the Padlet would look something like this. I put a couple of posts in there for the sake of this presentation. So let me return to the class. Okay, so I can see you all are posting some laws that you like and some laws you don't like. Thank you, Sarah, Jim, and Jamalia. All right, so I want you all to take a minute and look at what your classmates posted. If you like the law that they posted, I want you to click thumbs up, okay? If you don't like that law and you think it's a terrible idea, I want you to click thumbs down. Everybody's got 5 minutes to go and survey the laws that you pulled out of this article. All right, so just looking at that list, I want you to pause for 60 seconds And I want you to tell me what you're wondering right now. What is going on in the United States right now? All right, somebody hop on the mic and tell me. Now 60 seconds has passed. What's going on? Okay, Sarah, absolutely. That's a lot of new laws. That's right. Thank you, Jacob. It seems kind of strange that so many of them seem to restrict voting when the whole history of our country has really been expanding voting, right? Okay, great observations, guys. So now it's your turn, and you guys are going to get a chance to weigh in on these laws yourselves. So I'm going to share a Google form with you. I'm going to put the link in chat, and now it's your turn to look at some of these laws. All right, I do not even need your name with this, okay? Because we're going to do a class-wide survey and see where we are as a class. So I have put a lot of these laws on a survey. And all I want you to do is I want you to read through these. And if you think this sounds reasonable and like a good idea, I want you to check it. So like, look, requiring voter ID in order to vote. Do you like that one? If so, check it. Do you like making Election Day a holiday? Okay, if so, check it. So I'm going to give you about 7 or 8 minutes to consider all of these on this list. If you don't know what one is, put a note in chat and we'll talk about it, okay? All right, time is up. Let's take a look at what you as a class liked and what you didn't like. I think this is going to be very interesting. So it looks like 72% of you all say you want to make it easier with people with disabilities to be able to vote. I love that, you guys, and I'm in complete agreement with that. So that's a great response as a class. Looks like your next one is you want to require voter ID in order to vote. Interesting. The next one is you want to expand mail-in voting. And do you remember we've been reading articles about this and how states have been voting by mail, some of them for up to 10 years, right? Here's another one, create a longer voting period of at least 2 weeks, including 2 Saturdays. So those are some of your top responses. Let's see what responses you really did not like. So I can see one down here at 4%. Allow representatives from the political parties to stand closer to voting machines while people vote. Most of you said no to that one. Only 4 of you said yes. This is a crazy one. Make it where 12-year-olds can vote. Oh my goodness. Take voting rights away from people over the age of 70. I am so glad you all said no to that. One of you said yes. My goodness. And then this one, this is a long one, prevent people from changing their votes after they've already voted. That's kind of an interesting one. I've been a poll worker in Arkansas, and actually in Arkansas, we allow people to change their vote. We ask them to look at their ballot, make sure they got everything correct so that they don't walk away and accidentally vote for someone they didn't want to do. So that's actually a practice that we do here in the state. I think it's a good practice. All right, so now we come to the question for you. Which of these laws is best? What ought to be in a voting rights law? And what kind of law will best benefit the nation? Well, every state has to decide that. And guess what? So do you. Because now we're going to take the rest of the period. You've got about 30 or 45 minutes left. And you are going to create your own voting rights law. You are going to be the legislator, and you are going to create a law. And you may be saying, I can't do it, I can't do it. You can do it. I'm going to walk you through exactly what we're going to do in Class Kick. Let me put that link in chat. Here's the Class Kick activity. I'm not going to go through this right now, but I would go through it with the students, make sure they knew exactly what to do, and I will put this as an artifact in alongside my video. All right, I think everybody understands what to do. I do want to give you the option to work alone, to work with a couple of friends, or to work with me. Now, I am going to put some of you in a breakout room together, And I'm going to put some of you in the room with me, and I'm going to be coming around to each of the rooms and giving some instruction. All right, let's get busy on our objective for today. Raise your hands if you've got questions, and I'll